was saying, thank you for that introduction. Over the past few years, Flo and I have been actively involved in campaigning for the environment through our commitments to the Patana Marine Conservation Group and the SEC, the Student Environmental Committee.
Last year, Sara and I had the privilege of meeting and speaking to ocean advocate Miss Emily Penn. She inspired us not only with her story, but with the message she shared of the global concern of plastics accumulating in our 5 gyres of the ocean. The North Pacific gyre is considered the largest ecosystem of our planet, but not for the right reasons. Animals are trapped in an endless vortex they cannot swim out of. Imagine turtles caught in fishing wires and dolphins forced to feed on plastic. The ocean is often referred to as plastic soup in these areas because of the 6-to-1 ratio of plastic to plankton. Now, any marine biologists in the room will know that that's very dangerous because plankton is often referred to as the building block of all marine life. And where plastic is more concentrated than plankton, 6 times more concentrated than plankton, we can only expect our marine ecosystems to be built on plastic. As I describe this gyre to you, you may perhaps be imagining an island of floating rubbish, perhaps the size of Bangkok. Well, not exactly. The North Pacific garbage patch is more of an iceberg, 2.5 times the size of Thailand. Remember, there are 5 of these.
So, how can we see this locally then? Well, personally, I feel that I saw this on the most recent reef cleanup trip, where snorkelers and divers got together to clear rubbish from the small island of Gotsak and the reef around it. On our first dive, we spent a considerable amount of time underwater before we encountered any plastic rubbish. And at first I was elated, because we were finally seeing the positive impacts of returning yearly to the same location to clean it up. But then I thought back to Emily Penn's message, and quite a haunting thought crossed my mind. Because what if it was only the macroplastics that were decreasing in numbers, and microplastics were increasing in numbers? What if now cleaning our oceans was becoming that much more difficult? Now don't get me wrong, there was still plenty of rubbish in the ocean, and plenty to be cleaned up. But even such a terrifying thought like that should jolt us all into action. Now I'm sure many of you have come into contact with the plastic rubbish that litters the beaches of Asia. I know Flo and I have, particularly on our most recent DOE kayaking practice trip, where we saw how even the most remote islands in Thailand are cluttered with plastic rubbish. Now I want you to pay particular attention to that picture up there, those straws. Isn't it scary how similar those straws look to the straws that we use in our smoothie bar? Now to highlight our point here, we'd like to show you a quick video.
Now think of the future generations, your children and their children to come. Will they ever be given the opportunity to freely swim in the ocean? Will they ever see a turtle, a dolphin, a shark? Or will sea creatures be like dinosaurs to them? It is said that if scientists were to find a method to reduce the amount of plastic in our oceans, desired results won't be seen until the 3rd millennium. Undeniably, we won't be here to see a plastic-free ocean. But the way I see it, that's a pretty selfish excuse not to try and make it cleaner for the future generations.
Exactly. The plastic that we're throwing into the ocean inevitably ends up in us. Humans are consuming plastic at an undeniable rate. I know that vegetarians and vegans, you might think you're excluded from that list, but recent studies show that humans already have 31 out of the possible 39 plastic toxins in our bodies. 31 out of 39. I hope that statistic is quite shocking to you, and I hope it makes you realize how we can no longer detach ourselves from the environment. Because in reality, when we're trying to save the environment, we're also trying to save ourselves. And we really do have a choice to make. We have a choice to make, and we have to decide whether we want to be remembered as generations that let the planet be destroyed and didn't care, or as the generations that did something about it and came to respect our planet.
The most important message to take away from this presentation is that there is hope. Here I'm going to share with you some of the global achievements that have occurred in the last few years when it comes to reducing the amount of plastic in our oceans. Arguably, the most important is the new sustainable goal number 14, to conserve and sustainably use our oceans. This includes the United Nations sub-targets of addressing ocean acidification, marine pollution, and illegal fishing. On the top right is an image of the incredible sea bin, designed by 2 Australian fishermen, and it sucks up rubbish from our oceans. On the top left is an image of the Ocean Cleanup Project, created by Dutch engineers from the Netherlands. This eco-friendly machine collects plastic from the ocean. At the moment, a prototype's been launched into the North Sea, and if it's successful, one will be launched into the North Pacific garbage patch, where it is estimated that it could collect up to 50% of all the rubbish. That is truly amazing. And one I'm particularly grateful is in the bottom left, the biodegradable 6-pack ring. As a Belgian, beer is often consumed at my family reunions. And it always made me sad to see videos after of these plastic beer packages trapping turtles in their shells and preventing them from growing. So now it brings a smile to my face to see that there are these biodegradable 6-pack rings. However, these are some great global achievements, but the environmental clubs in our school have had some local achievements of their own. The committee I work with in the Student Environmental Committee at the beginning of this year managed to source biodegradable paper cups for our annual fun run. Now, this is truly amazing because in the 10 years I've been included in this fun run, we have never been able to take such steps in making it plastic-free. Similarly, at the end of last year, we hosted a Wasteless Week, where students were able to eliminate almost all the rubbish, particularly plastic, from our snack bars. Students have also been able to overcome boundaries. For example, last year I led the recycling project in presenting to the 6-day staff and contacting all secondary teachers. And at the end of last year, a group of students and I set up an energy group. We were inspired by the new science building that runs partially on renewable energy.
And now, the Patana Group has had a few successes of our own. Some of them are highlighted on that slide up there. But really, what's the most important thing is that we've been able to raise awareness in younger year groups and increase the numbers of our trips. Now we have more people than ever coming on our trips, cleaning the oceans, and helping with our artificial reef that Flo's going to talk about.
Yes, to add to what Sarah was saying, in our last visit to this artificial reef, I was amazed to see a turtle, a manta ray, and an octopus. Now what's truly amazing about this is that these species were previously thought extinct from Pattaya. Our growing reef suggests otherwise.
Now, as students, undeniably, one of our largest sources of inspiration is our teachers. Each and every one of you has such an intangible impact on the students that you teach. I hope you realize that you're teaching the future generation of politicians and leaders, engineers and scientists, artists and creators, entrepreneurs, businessmen and women. The list is endless. You need to teach environmental consciousness and to be role models to your students. Because at the end of the day, if you can inspire them, then we'll be inspired too. And when you believe in something, your students will believe in it too. Now, to end our presentation today, we'd like to share a striking quote with you from Richard Williams.
Whatever you're fighting for,
Racism or poverty,
feminism, gay rights, or any type of equality,
it won't matter in the least.
because if we don't all come together to protect this planet,
We will be equally extinct.
Thank you.